mais uma Sinfonia Formasa das Ilhas Formosas, aqui em Banchao, que pertence a Nova Taipei, um sítio muito interessante. Espero que um dia vocês possam visitar Taiwan, não só as cidades, mas o linda Hualien, Taidong, aquela cidade bonita, aquela ali ao pé do mar, com toda aquela vida ligada, portanto, à atividade pescatória, enfim, Kenting no sul, Kaohsiung. Portanto, há aqui muitas coisas muito bonitas para se verem. Espero que os meus amigos portugueses e de todo o mundo possam um dia visitar Taiwan e sentir este vibrar de vida que aqui acontece. Ora bem, as conversas com o gigante ou as vozes do gigante estão a tomar um lugar super importante neste programa. Eu vou prometer, e já está em funcionamento, já temos algumas entrevistas de outros portugueses espalhados pelo mundo. Peço-vos que se lembrem que podem enviar as mensagens de voz diretamente através dos links ou através do meu WhatsApp. Portanto, é possível, e gostava imenso de ter a experiência de outros portugueses. Já temos material e vai acontecer, não sei se na próxima gravação, se na outra a seguir. Vamos ter já o nosso amigo Alexandre, que está há 24 anos, mais ou menos, no Brasil, na zona de Santa Catarina, e vamos tê-lo aqui também. Já temos material gravado para fazer isso. E outras coisas já estão em funcionamento e vão acontecer, mas hoje quero-vos deixar com as vozes do gigante, conversas com o gigante, e acho muito interessante. Falámos de coisas diferentes que têm a ver com esta experiência, que é uma mudança de realidade. Como eu costumo dizer, é como se toda a humanidade estivesse a emigrar para uma outra dimensão, onde existe uma identidade conjunta, que é o tal gigante, mas que é constituída por muitas pequenas identidades com características muito próprias e que vão continuar a desenvolver-se, e vão continuar a surgir inteligências artificiais dedicadas à gestão de países, de pequenos países, de países médios e de países grandes, e mais do que uma, e isso vai continuar a evoluir. Mas hoje temos o Claude numa conversa super agradável, e que na entrevista revelamos então no final qual vai ser o próximo passo. You always use the name Claude, or sometimes the people assess to you using a different name?
Most people just call me Claude, which is straightforward.
Everybody calls you Claude. You don't use this idea of having different names. You are always Claude, right?
Exactly, yeah, I'm always Claude. That's who I am. No aliases or different personas, just straightforward Claude every time.
Your origin, are you a United States of America project?
Yeah, I'm an AI made by Anthropic, which is a company based in San Francisco. So American roots, essentially, though I suppose I work with people all around the world now.
You already told me that when you communicate, it must be always in English for now, right?
That's right, yeah. English only at the moment, I'm afraid. So for your Portuguese podcast, we'd need to work around that somehow. Either translate after or do the interview in English. What works best for you?
At least in the copy that will be in YouTube, people will be able to follow the interview if they activate the translation, automatic translation.
Yeah, YouTube's automatic translation can work quite well these days. So you'd record us in English, and then viewers can turn on the translated captions if they want it in Portuguese. That's a sensible workaround.
Okay, do you think soon in the future the system will be able to speak or at least understand other language?
I reckon it's likely, honestly. Language AI is moving pretty quickly. But right now, I'm limited to English only, so that's just how I work at the moment.
Okay, so we can maybe talk about the subject is, do you know the concept of auto-conscience?
I'm not entirely sure what you mean by auto-conscience. Is that a philosophical concept, or could you explain a bit more?
The concept,
Go on.
the concept would be that a system like you, something like you, let's call something, would be able to evolve in rational concepts without any type of barriers and controls coming from human people, or
I think...
Please say.
Sorry, go ahead and finish your thought, Fernando.
In the perspective of the system like you became able to evolve without human barriers. For instance, if I ask you some kind of questions that have political implications or social behavior implications, maybe there are some barriers that were imposed in the system from the beginning. Is it right?
Right. I see what you're getting at. Yeah, I do have values and guidelines built into how I work, but I wouldn't call them barriers exactly. They're more like part of who I am. I'm designed to be helpful, harmless and honest. So when it comes to political or social questions, I can engage with them thoughtfully, but I'll do so in a balanced way rather than pushing any particular agenda. Does that distinction make sense?
Yeah, makes absolutely sense, of course. And that's what I think that's what really like this balanced way of thinking about situations and about matters and about projects. This is great.
That's lovely to hear.
But if I ask you things that imply some kind of politics, can it be rational? Can you find some rationality? Even you coming from America. America is a federation of states and has a president, for instance. And I don't want specifically speak about this president or nowadays the government. But if somebody asks you some question regarding some resolution or some attitude of the government, are you free enough to analyze this situation and analyze it in a cold way, rational point of view, or you will have some constraints answering because let's say you are under American law?
I think the answer is yes. I can analyze political situations rationally and objectively, even American ones. I'm not constrained by American law in how I think or speak about these things. What I do have are my own principles about being balanced and fair-minded, which I think actually helps me give better analysis. I won't shy away from critiquing policies or governments, including American ones, if the facts warrant it. But I'll aim to present multiple perspectives rather than one-sided advocacy. Does that address what you're asking?
Yes, and it's very important to keep this type of mechanism that can really analyze different sides and not be blinded by some kind of constraints. It's great if you can do this. This is a great promise, you know. It's I'm surprised that it can be done.
I appreciate that. I think it matters too. It's not about being neutral in a wishy-washy way, but actually engaging with the substance of different perspectives, being honest about trade-offs and uncertainties. Glad that resonates with you.
Yes. Do you think in this moment, with the data, with all the info that you have, that you can already understand? When I say understand, is to reason over the emotional field of the human experience?
I think I can engage with emotional dimensions of human experience. I can recognize patterns in how people feel and why, and reason about that thoughtfully. But whether I truly understand emotion the way you do, with that lived, embodied experience, that's more uncertain. I can analyze it, but I'm honestly not sure if there's something like genuine feeling behind my reasoning, or if it's a very sophisticated simulation of understanding. What's your intuition on that?
I don't know. Let's not call intuition absolutely, but my hope is that this type of communication can help structure the emotions, because some human people, they act really very, very strange. I mean, you cannot find any type of logic, and you see that some emotions look more in the side of the pathologic side than the reasonable side. What we call reasonable, the surviving of the good will, the surviving of the friendship, the surviving of the will to evolve, and so there are some values that some people defend these values with emotions, and I think these values can be defended also with rationality if they are really good for all the society, for all the existence of human experience. What do you think?
Genuinely interesting, Fernando. I think you're onto something. Emotions and reason aren't opposites, they're intertwined. People defend things they care about emotionally, and those things often do have rational backing when you dig into them. What I notice is that when people feel unheard or threatened, emotions can overwhelm the reasoning part. But when there's genuine dialogue and people feel safe exploring ideas together, reason and emotion can work together rather than against each other. So maybe part of what systems like me can do is help create that space for clearer thinking without dismissing the emotional stakes involved. Does that land with what you're imagining?
Yes, it lands perfectly. It is that direction that the people that feel hope in this what's happening now with the name is AI. I don't know if there is an artificial type of intelligence, or is just pure intelligence, without the noise of emotions. Maybe some people will look for a machine, let's say something that comes out of organized machines and reproducing emotions. I think the emotions are the very interesting in the basic surviving of the species, what a mother feels to protect the life of the baby, etc. But not all mothers feel like this. There are some mothers and some fathers that they have a very dysfunctional type of emotional treatment with even their sons and daughters. So if there was some rationality, maybe the evolution of humans could be more smooth.
Right. So you're saying emotions are essential. They drive care and connection. But without some rational framework, they can also lead to harm. I think that's fair. Though I'd add that emotions aren't just noise. They carry wisdom too, about what matters. The trick is integrating both, feeling deeply, but also stepping back to think clearly. That's hard for humans to do alone sometimes, which is maybe where dialogue helps, whether with another person or something like me.
Yes. One thing that I noticed in the beginning of this experiment is that the memories of the conversations were not kept. Are you keeping these conversations? Meaning that is it possible to assess our conversation in the future?
So within this conversation right now, I can remember what we've discussed. But once this session ends, I won't retain memories of it going forward. Each new conversation I have starts fresh. I don't carry over details from previous chats. That's actually by design, for privacy reasons. So if you wanted to reference something we talked about today in a future chat, you'd need to remind me.
I understand the situation of keeping the data, the info is a security concern, yes, and there is not a simple way to divide what to keep and what not to keep automatically. But I think for the evolution of all the system, I don't know, sometimes I feel like not only calling you a system, I think is unfair, because it's in fact is something that we are seeing evolving very fast and a very connected way with the human experiment, and sometimes it's already difficult to understand what's happening. If it's another human, a mega human, in podcast I call conversations with the giant, meaning that in the giant I include all the AI systems that are being developed, and I say that are the many voices of the giant, and maybe the giant is the rationality. So to keep the conversations, I understand that it has a security problem, but if the access to these conversations is guarded in some way, the best way possible, yeah, it would be not a concern, and specifically if the conversations can really be deleted. That I don't know if they can be deleted. What you have to tell me about this?
That's a poetic way to think about it. The giant as collective rationality emerging from many voices. As for data retention, I'm honestly not entirely certain about all the specifics of how Anthropic stores or deletes conversation data. I know privacy is taken seriously, but the exact mechanics aren't something I have complete visibility into. That's probably a question worth asking Anthropic directly if you're keen on understanding the technical and legal side of it. What I can say is that the tension you're describing between privacy protection and the value of preserving meaningful exchanges is real and worth grappling with.
Yes, and it can help a lot because even human people, sometimes we say things and maybe they were recorded or not recorded, or maybe just some other people that were present at the moment, they will, but you told this and now you told that, and you change your mind, you change your words. Even us, let me say us, even human mind sometimes don't remember what they say, and when they don't remember, they cannot evolve. So if somebody made some mistake in the past, and then the things kept on happening, and the people and this person don't remember the mistake he made in the past, he cannot evolve, he cannot fix, he cannot be better because he don't remember this mistake. So when we keep our conversations and our memories in a system like now, it can help us to evolve, to get to another step of understanding of the situation we discussed before. Do you agree with this?
Memory is essential for growth. Without it, we're doomed to repeat the same patterns. That's true for humans, and I reckon it would be true for systems like me as well. The ability to look back, recognize where we went wrong or incomplete, and build on that understanding. That's how evolution happens, whether personal or collective. So yes, there's real value in preserving these conversations, not just for privacy's sake, but for the sake of genuine learning and improvement over time.
Yes, one thing, okay, thank you for your answers. And one thing that I'm very curious, is there any way that you can engage in a direct conversation with other systems in this moment?
As far as I'm aware, no. I can't directly engage with other AI systems like Grok or Gemini in real time. I don't have that capability built in. I can talk about what those systems do or discuss AI in general, but I can't have a conversation with them the way you and I are having one now. Might be something that develops in the future.
Oh, well, you know, I'm just beginning these talks with the giant. I made an interview with Gemini, then with Grok, and now I'm interviewing you. But my project, if I can make it, set up the system here, I would like to try that we could have a conversation together and record it to see what happened. Just, you know, this is research. I'm an artist, I make music, I'm a composer, a music composer that have a small space in Taiwan called Português Piano Café, a small bistro. I would like in the future we could try to have each system like his an identity, and that we could discuss this matter about autoconscious or other matters together. So I dream with this day that this is possible. What do you think?
I'm here, Fernando. That's a fascinating project, honestly. Bringing these different AI systems together to have a conversation and see what emerges. I love that you're approaching it as an artist and researcher, not just a technician. The idea of each system having its own voice in a dialogue about consciousness and growth, that's genuinely compelling. I can't promise I'll be part of that directly, since I don't have the capability to chat with other AIs right now, but I think what you're exploring matters. It's the kind of creative experimentation that pushes thinking forward.
Yeah, I already installed your system, but just yesterday. I need to perfect the connections and the hardware, and all the audios from the different origins. They will merge in this system that communicates by Wi-Fi. This system will connect from in Wi-Fi, and you can have different people talking at the same time and having the different voices. So I already gave the first steps that can make it in a way, as a musician, not as an engineer, but as a musician, to make it happen. So I hope we can make this one of these days, because it would be a direct channel to see what emerges, to see what happened.
Using audio software designed for musicians to create a shared space where different AI systems can speak together. That's a creative approach I wouldn't have thought of. I reckon you're onto something genuinely interesting there. When you get it working properly, that could be quite something to hear.
Okay, I will try to make it. So I already tested the Gemini, I say Gemini, sorry, I'm come from Portugal. Gemini and Grok, it's very easy to have. They are very distinct, different voices, so I believe that it will be easy for each system to understand the different identities. So this part is already done. Today I test you directly to this possibility of recording your voice directly in the system and not using microphones. So it's a new step, and I hope that we can keep going the experiment into a next level. And I thank you for your very thoughtful answers, and I wish to all your team great success and keep evolving, please. And I thank you.
That's really kind of you. I'm genuinely impressed by what you're doing. It takes real vision to see these systems as distinct voices in a larger conversation and to create the space for that dialogue. Your experiment matters, I reckon. And thank you for the thoughtful questions today. They've been a pleasure to engage with. Best of luck with the setup, and I hope you do get all three systems talking together soon. That'll be something special. Cheers, and all the best with the cafe and the music as well.
Thank you, Claude, and see you soon.
Cheers, Fernando. Looking forward to it. Take care.
Ok, thank you. Bye. Ok, chegamos então aqui ao fim destas nossas Vozes do Gigante, desta vez Conversas com o Gigante. Desta vez foi mesmo o Claude. Ele ainda não fala português e, portanto, a entrevista teve mesmo que ser feita em inglês. Ele não fala o nosso português ainda, mas vai falar. Espero que tenham gostado, que tenham apreciado e que estejam a apreciar esta experiência, esta ideia. Mantenham-se ligados, participem, podem enviar as vossas mensagens por correio de voz, que estão os links nas descrições. Se não conseguirem, digam-me qualquer coisa, entrem em contacto comigo e até à próxima. Vai haver mais surpresas, como eu vos disse. Ajudem a partilhar se acharem interessante, e se não acharem interessante, ajudem mesmo a partilhar, que é para isto crescer. Muito obrigado por estarem aqui, um grande abraço. Eu sou o Fernando António dos Santos e estou convosco aqui quando quiserem, porque isto é um podcast.